I'm going to contact my
You know, confidence can get you ridiculously easily noticed by people you never even thought, that it could open doors and give you opportunities that you never even knew existed. Just by putting yourself out there and owning yourself and trusting yourself, you could literally be paving the way for the next big thing in your life. This is to say that we all need a little bit of confidence, even just a little bit, just to get us through whatever stage of life that we're going through. But the question is, why would you need a little bit of confidence? Well, you can learn how to grow it.
But it's, I mean, who wants to look, simple when you can look stunning?
This video is for anybody who struggles with taking up space or just trusting themselves, especially when it comes to social settings. So you want to stick around and find out how I grew my confidence to amazing, incredible levels, to the point where if you woke me up today and asked me to give like a speech in the middle of the night, will I be scared and confused? Yes, absolutely yes. But will I still do it? Also, absolutely yes. Disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. Like I always say, we're always learning. I am not the confidence guru. I'm just gonna be sharing what I found to be extremely helpful in getting to that next level as far as building confidence goes. So I'm just gonna put it out there as a caveat emptor. I don't want any accusations that are misleading people. Okay, let's get into it. So many reasons why your confidence levels may not be where you want them to be, and this could be from like childhood trauma, where someone said something to you when you were 6 years old and you were just forming your identity, and that has stuck with you, and their voice has now become your villain voice in your mind. Another reason is when you don't necessarily know what kind of situation you're getting yourself into. And for some people, it's just their personality type, honestly. Some people tend to be more on the quiet side, on the shy side, and there's no problem with that absolutely whatsoever. And for some people, it's also because they just don't like the attention being on them. And that's, again, totally fine. But sometimes life throws something at you that forces you to be at the center of it all. And so learning about how to be confident when you're called for it is very important. Harsh reality is, the world is always gonna favor people who know how to put themselves out there and to present the best version of themselves. And it's also a harsh reality that these people might end up getting opportunities, going to spaces, getting gifts, money, whatever it is that you have been eyeing. But because they are more confident and put themselves out there, and not necessarily because they're smarter than you or they know better than you, but just because they know how to position themselves, they're gonna make you miss out on something that you could have also gotten. So it's very important to harness your strengths, because confidence is something you build from within, and when you know how to harness it, then it becomes a strength for you. Know your stuff. And what does that mean? It means conducting research, knowing what you're gonna talk about if you're talking about a presentation setting, knowing who you're gonna approach if you're going for an interview, learn about the company, learn everything you can about the history. If you're trying to ask someone out, at least know their name, know a few things that they like. Just knowing stuff goes a long way when you're trying to build your confidence. And I personally practice this a lot even now, because what happens is just beyond having the knowledge in your mind. It's also trying to appease your mind to say, hey, look, we know our stuff, okay? So there's no need for you to panic some extra, because we know exactly what we're talking about. Somewhere I would recommend starting is just learning social cues, learn about different interaction settings, learn about different personality types, and learn how to approach people in different settings. Learn how to deal with people when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're upset, when they're scared. Basically learn everything you can possibly learn about people. This is a never-ending journey, so you need to take your time with it, and you need to be patient and apply the knowledge that you obtain slowly by slowly until you build it up. This is a perfect strategy to apply if you're worried about how you're gonna present yourself in a group setting, a group presentation, or if you're making a speech, or just anything where you're judged based on your intellectual presentation and how you are actually able to articulate yourself. Speech and language are two other very important components that go into how confident you are and how confident you're perceived. Okay, so you also need to take time and learn your language. Like, I'm talking about whatever language you speak, whether it's your native language, English, Kiswahili, Kikuyu, French, German, whatever it is that you need to use to present yourself in whichever setting that you are in. Just make sure that you're able to articulate and express yourself in the best possible way, because that's how you also set yourself from the rest of the crowd. So tip number 2, and I think it should have actually been tip number 1, is know thyself. Okay? Know who you are, know your limits, know your do's, know your don'ts, and know everything else you need to know about yourself. Because something that a lot of people misconstrue about confidence is that the loudest person or the most extroverted person or the most outspoken person is the confident one. Well, that's not true. And actually, I might argue that in most cases, the opposite is true. People tend to overcompensate for what they don't have by showing other versions of themselves that they believe will be appeasing to people. Confidence is more like having security and trust in yourself as a person and in your mind and in how you present yourself. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to change your personality, change how you speak, change how you express yourself just to seem like you're fitting into the crowd or you're trying to get perceived in a different way. Absolutely not. So you need to know yourself, you need to know how you interact with people, you need to know how you react when put in certain specific settings, and you need to be okay with who you are and understand who you are. Once you have mastered yourself, then you can master everything else. So something I would recommend for you to do is try and spend time alone. That's always the best starting point, and this is something I've actually applied a lot. I try to spend time alone and in silence, just to let my thoughts run, because that also gives you insight on how you think and how you perceive things and how you process things. Let me tell you why that's important. It's important because when you understand how you think, a lot of what you think about when you're freaking out and when you feel like you're running out of confidence, you can now make sense of it. Am I making sense? So if I learn to sit with my thoughts and understand my thinking process, then I will understand why I lose confidence in certain settings, and then I will learn how to unwork that so that I can rebuild my thought processes and how I perceive things, so that now I can master my mind. Because when you master your mind, darling, then your life truly begins.
Period. Period.
Tip number 3 is take baby steps out of your comfort zone. Say it with me, baby steps. Okay, baby steps, but out of your comfort zone. It means pushing yourself day by day, or however long you need to build your confidence to whatever level you need it to be on, by pushing yourself slowly. You're obviously not gonna start your practice runs on how confident you are by going and singing in the Super Bowl. You're not gonna go give a speech in the biggest, most packed stadium now, are you? So the trick in taking baby steps out of your comfort zone, something I practiced that helped me a lot in building my confidence, was trying to say hi to everyone that I ran into. Once in a while when you're running into someone, maybe someone who's at the door, someone who's delivered something, or just someone walking by the street, and you're not sure whether to say hi. Is it gonna be weird? Do they even want to say hi? Are we making eye contact? That thought process that runs when you meet someone on the way or wherever you are, and then you're like, should I say hi? Are we on the high level yet? You can start there. Just say hi to them. A simple hello. Nothing too crazy. A simple hello does it. If I go to the supermarket, I say hi to the cashier who is checking my stuff out. If I'm like going to a parking lot, I say hi to the security guard. Trust me, these small baby steps, they really build up something. Because you see, when you say hi and that person says hi back, well, then you have like a soft confirmation that anyway, things aren't really as bad as I thought they were. Because before you try something, it always seems like the biggest deal, and then when you immerse yourself and you're in the moment, then all of that just fades away. Whenever you're in a setting and you feel like you have something to say it. It doesn't have to come out in the perfect way. You don't have to have like a whole debate, topic written down with the pros and the cons. just even speaking out, even if you won't articulate your sentence to the end, that's already a win in my books. And the more you try and do that, the more you will find your way, the more confidence you'll build along the way. The next time your lecturer is asking, am I audible? Can you hear me? Be the person to say, yes, sir, we can hear you, or yes, ma'am, we can hear you. And those small steps that you take, eventually you find yourself answering a question in class. Eventually you find yourself volunteering to give a presentation, and it opens up a whole world. In a public speaking setting, baby steps would look like this. Because you're already in the scenario, you are already backstage, people are out there, they're waiting for you to come. You could tell yourself the following: these people, they don't know that I've rehearsed this presentation 1,000 times. They don't know that I've stuttered so many times when I was practicing, and that time my confidence is shaken. They don't know that I suffer from social anxiety. They don't know that this is my first presentation. Because they don't know all that, they're just neutral people in this setting. They don't know anything about you, they're not onto you. You are onto yourself in your mind. So when you remind yourself that these people barely know anything about you, they have a blank page on you, then you have a better chance of improving your confidence, because then you can show up as whoever you decide to be. And you're just gonna have to take it. And that's a thing that takes a lot of practice. To be honest, I haven't given a lot of speeches or presentations in my time, but the few times that I have, I always try and reassure myself in that way. You set the tone, okay? You are the determinant of how people are gonna take you. So you have a blank page, fill it up real nice. All right, so the next tip I would recommend is to transcend your thoughts. And you know what kind of thoughts I'm talking about. I'm talking about the self-defeating thoughts, those questions of, oh, am I good enough? Am I prepared enough? Are these people gonna laugh at me? Will these people like me? You need to transcend those thoughts. And the best way I've found to actually deal with those thoughts and transcend the fear is by asking yourself, what's the worst that could happen? I don't know if that's like the, extra paranoid version of myself, but that's just what I use, and it tends to work. So you could ask yourself the following. For example, if I stutter when I'm making my speech, what's the worst that could happen? People are probably gonna murmur in the crowd. I'm probably gonna feel bad about myself for like 5 seconds or whatever, how long you're gonna feel bad about yourself. But the truth is, life moves on, and it's not even a big deal as you think to anyone out there in the crowd. The show must go on. Nothing is as a big of a deal as your mind makes it out to be. Because here's the thing, your mind is just trying to protect you, okay? It's a survival mechanism, it's an instinct. Your mind is trying to protect you by helping you avoid the possible embarrassment, the possible uncertainty that comes with putting yourself out there. But that's no way to live. If you're limited by your fears all the time, you'll never progress. So you need to address them. And this doesn't mean that you now ignore them. It just means that you identify them, you acknowledge them, and you're like, babes, imagine you're just gonna move on and you're just gonna do this whether you're here or not. Yeah, so that's it. The next tip I'm gonna recommend, learn the art of improvising, okay? No one's gonna tell you this enough, but improvising is actually a very important life skill that you need to have. Why? Because the truth of the matter is, most of the times when you're called to be a confident person is out of opportunities, scenarios, circumstances that come on the spot, and this is just life. Life is very unpredictable, and you're not always gonna have a chance to like get ready, prepare for your presentation, prepare for your speech, get ready to go ask that person out, go make new friends. Like, all of these things often come spontaneously. So if you don't know how to improvise in a situation, it's gonna be really hard for you to feel confident in yourself. And improvising is something more like you just have to get on with it when the opportunity presents yourself. So I would recommend just saying yes to things more. When you're asked to do something, volunteer. Be the person who's putting themselves out there, because the more you do these things, the more your mind learns to prepare for unforeseen circumstances, and the more your confidence grows. That's the best place to be. Next tip I would recommend is for you to just look good when you need to look good, because we all know the importance of looking good. When you look good, you what? Feel good. Before you even introduce yourself, before you say anything, people have already judged you. Whether we like it or not, people are always going to perceive us. And fortunately or unfortunately, the way people perceive us plays a big role in how they treat us. You dress amazing, there's that aura that you get, like you're walking down the street and nobody can tell you anything. Just putting a little bit of effort, just a little bit, just a crumb, and then build that up, and you will notice how differently you're treated. By the way, on to the last tip is stay the lulu, because a big part of confidence comes from you just believing in yourself regardless of the facts, the statistics, the history, the future, the everything. You just at some point have to believe that you're really that person and that you really have what it takes, even though everything else behind you has something different to say. Okay, you have to really believe in yourself to an almost delusional level, and that's just how you're gonna show up there. Rihanna told us that even when you don't feel good, you gotta pretend. Sometimes you gotta pretend, and this doesn't mean that you become like a different person, whatever, but what it means is you just summon a version of yourself that is ready to deal with the circumstances that you're dealing with at the moment. Because let's face it, we're all human, we're not always gonna be at 100% all the time, but when you need to be confident, baby, you need to be confident. Okay, you need to really work on angling your mind in a way that when you're called for to give something, to do something, to say something, to be someone, at that time, you need to put everything aside and just assume an air of confidence. Not arrogance, but confidence, okay? Okay, so that's it, guys. Those are all the tips and tricks. I hope this video has been really helpful, and I'm so sure that if you try and put all the things that we've talked about in this video to practice, you're gonna notice a huge improvement in how confident you are. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. Mwah.